Last year the mood was defiant. This year the population was really exasperated and really needed a break, needs change, and a change that only the relaxation of some sanctions can bring. So this is what brought Rouhani to power. So some of the impetus is actually domestic Iranian. It's not possible to change 34 years of mistrust overnight, and as a result getting carried away and having extremely high expectations leads to, well, possibly unrealistic expectations. We shall see. There's a sense of urgency to this all, in the sense that in the past the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, has given the various presidents 6 to 12 months to pursue the negotiations whichever way they wanted. In case they failed, as they all did, not only negotiations but the various approaches taken by Rouhani's predecessors. In case of failure, Khamenei would step in and carry out things his own way, and Khamenei is not known for being particularly amicable to the West. So this has always been the default option for Iran, that is, having a confrontational tone. So there's a sense of urgency on the side of Rouhani, because he needs to deliver and deliver fast, and he knows fully well this. There's a sense of urgency on the side of the US as well. Iranian-US relations have been marked by silence, mistrust, incomprehensions since 1979, so since the outbreak of the Islamic Revolution. That has been followed by, well, the hostage crisis at the US Embassy in Tehran, a crisis a few years later in Lebanon. More generally, geopolitical competition in the region, be it in Afghanistan, Iraq, fraught relations over Israel. Iran has been subject to very harsh international sanctions for a number of years, of various natures, imposed by various actors. The UN as a whole, the Security Council, the United States, the European Union. These have, have hit the Iranian economy pretty hard, and as a result, the Iranian population's living conditions as well. The recognition of Iran's right to civilian use of nuclear energy is granted. I don't think that Iran would accept anything less than this, and I think that the West can live with it. So I think that, well, a deal would involve the recognition of Iran's status as a nuclear power, but not the military dimension of it, the use of nuclear energy for peaceful purposes. The right to acquire peaceful nuclear energy is obviously one component. The second is a cap on the level of enrichment of uranium that Iran would be allowed to essentially maintain in its own facilities. And I think that there are good signs coming out of both the foreign ministries and the presidency in Tehran, suggesting that Iran may be prepared to freeze the enrichment. I guess that the US would prefer a rollback. How far Iran is prepared to go is at the moment unclear. And apart from the end of the Cold War and China's rise, a breakthrough with Iran would be one of the biggest geopolitical events and shifts of the last 35 years. So this is pretty major. One of the possible consequences of a detente with the United States would be the relaxation and possibly even lifting of the sanctions. The implications would be ending Iran's international isolation, would be a greater involvement of Iran in regional affairs, would be that the US would have to accept this, and basically other parties would have to accept this, but there's as I said, a clear competition for regional hegemony between Iran and Saudi Arabia.